If you're a younger horror fan, you might not have had a chance to watch a lot of older horror movies, and that's totally okay. But if you want to get to know the genre deeper, here's my recommendation for a terrifying older horror movie that's a must-see for younger audience. Friday the 13th, Part 2. Now you're wondering why Part 2 and not the original, and that is a great question. I get it, the original is a classic, it's got a hell of a twist, and it's overall a terrific movie. But, one, you're more likely to have seen the original, but also, when you think Friday the 13th, you think Jason. And Jason's appearance in the original is confined to about 15 seconds at the end when he attacks Alice in the boat. But with Pam Voorhees' gruesome beheading in the OG, that leaves room for Jason to rise to his iconic role as the deadliest villain in horror cinema. Released in 1981, just a year after the original, Part 2 makes sure you're caught up, even if you didn't see the original. It starts with Alice's nightmare reliving the epic battle between Alice and Mrs. Voorhees. Alice wakes up safe and sound in her bed, but her safety is short-lived because that final girl has got no place in this sequel. When we join a new group of counselors at a nearby camp, we learn it's 5 years later, and a local legend says that Jason is still alive. Part 2 creates the template for the franchise. The kills get more brutal, the body count gets higher, and the battles even more over the top. The franchise might have gotten tired and played out by the 90s, but with the first sequel, we get an entirely different killer than the original. Granted, it's an improbable killer who's inexplicably alive and a strapping young man the size of a small car, but it's a slasher movie, and that's how killers are built. While the rest of the franchise is a harder sell to all but the most loyal fans, Part 2 is surprisingly good, no matter what Rotten Tomatoes says. And more importantly, it's Jason's first kills. This is his bar mitzvah, his quinceanera, his debutante ball. This is his first beer. Part 2 is when Jason comes of age. He's one of the most iconic figures in horror cinema, and his debut is not to be missed by fans. And since right now it's streaming for free on Paramount Plus, it's a good time to make some s'mores, enjoy these last days of summer on the shores of Crystal Lake.